Alberta's alert enforcement team says it has made one of the biggest drug busts in provincial history. A cross-border case they call Project Cerberus.
Have you ever imagined a Chinese drug lord named Wong? A fugitive who once slipped past a Mexican arrest warrant, forged unthinkable alliances with the most feared criminal empires, Sinaloa and CJNG, only to be extradited to the United States and stand in a Brooklyn federal courtroom on what seemed like any other morning? This mastermind orchestrated the transport of tons of narcotics and funneled billions through a network of over 100 shell companies. He outwitted Mexico's military dragnet, only to be recaptured in Cuba. Yet somehow he still found himself facing American justice. How did it all unfold? Today we finally unravel the full story behind this ultra-secret financial intelligence operation, the nail-biting turning points, and the devastating strikes that crippled the cartel's underground economy. If you're hooked and craving the full truth, hit that like button now, share it with your friends, drop your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe with the notifications on so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping story. Let's dive in. On a quiet morning in Brooklyn, the heavy doors of the federal courthouse swung open, revealing a man with many aliases now being led inside. He was known to the world as Wong, a notorious fugitive from Mexico whose name had long been synonymous with large-scale drug trafficking. He had earned a spot on the U.S. Most Wanted list for his pivotal role in orchestrating criminal operations across borders. As he stood before the judge, this moment wasn't just the end of a years-long manhunt. It was a direct confrontation with the sprawling transnational criminal empire he had helped control for so long. The suspect stands accused of maintaining close ties with two of Mexico's most infamous criminal organizations, the Sinaloa Cartel and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG. According to court documents from the U.S. Department of Justice, he orchestrated a vast drug trafficking and money laundering scheme that had been in operation since at least June 2016. Thousands of pounds of various narcotics were methodically smuggled across the border, while vast amounts of illicit profits were funneled through over 100 shell companies operating on U.S. soil. Seizures directly tied to this operation included 46 kilograms of pure cocaine, 58 kilograms of methamphetamine, and nearly 7 kilograms of pure fentanyl. These quantities represent just a fraction of what was intercepted, with the majority already infiltrating the massive U.S. consumer market. Meanwhile, the organization's covert financial network successfully laundered at least $77 million in drug proceeds through U.S. banking channels over several years, managing to do so without raising immediate alarms. The true battleground for modern criminal organizations isn't on the streets or at border handoff points. It lies within the flow of bank wire transfers, forged business registration filings, and accounts opened under stolen or fake identities. This shadowy financial infrastructure has enabled the cartels to maintain their operations with astounding resilience, even under relentless pressure from international law enforcement. The biggest question remains: how did U.S. agencies manage to bring such a high-level target back from Mexico without the entire network having time to react or reorganize? The answer lies in the patient pursuit of tracking the money, not in loud, dramatic raids. Every bank transaction, every shell company created left behind a digital trail that investigators meticulously gathered and pieced together over many years. The system is accused of operating like a multinational corporation, yet it does so entirely in the shadows. Narcotics are imported in quantities measured by the ton, necessitating a complex logistics network that spans from temporary storage facilities to distribution hubs. the coordinators never physically handle the product themselves. Instead, their focus is on connecting the various links in the chain and ensuring a continuous flow, all while constantly altering transportation routes to evade detection. Fentanyl is particularly dangerous in seizures because just a few kilograms can yield millions of potentially lethal doses. However, the far greater threat lies in the money flow that sustains the entire supply chain. Over 100 shell companies have been created using forged documents. These companies receive cash from various drop points, move the funds through multiple layers of transfers, and ultimately transform illicit money into assets that appear entirely legitimate on the surface. These companies function as highly sophisticated financial relay points. Recruits in the United States open bank accounts and receive cash deposits based on detailed instructions sent from Mexico. Every step is meticulously monitored to ensure that even the slightest mistake is avoided. On the surface, these businesses appear to be nothing more than harmless small enterprises, making it nearly impossible to suspect that they are laundering enormous amounts of money for criminal organizations. Taking down a single high-level financial link causes far more long-term damage than seizing one individual shipment. When a key coordinator is arrested, the entire payment system begins to collapse. Other members are forced to scramble to find replacements, all while operating under intense scrutiny. This is exactly why such suspects are placed at the top of the U.S. government's list of highest priority targets. The process of bringing him back to the United States was marked by a series of complex and dramatic events. He was first arrested in Mexico City in 2024, following a formal extradition request from the United States. However, a Mexican judge granted him house arrest and he managed to escape in July 2025, despite being under tight surveillance by local armed forces. This incident immediately heightened pressure on all the agencies involved, setting the stage for an intensified pursuit. The escape was not just a routine legal matter, it also posed a significant security threat. A target who possesses extensive knowledge of the money routes and the identities of key intermediaries could be permanently silenced by his former organization. Simultaneously, U.S. agencies had to accelerate every plan of action, knowing that the network could quickly reorganize or attempt a rescue, making it crucial to act swiftly before the situation escalated further. After a period in hiding, he was recaptured in Cuba during an internationally coordinated operation. Mexican authorities swiftly confirmed his identity and completed all necessary procedures. Finally, on October 23, 2025, he was handed over directly to the United States without any further obstacles. Just a few weeks later, on November 19, 2025, he appeared before the federal court in Brooklyn and entered a plea of not guilty. His appearance in court marked a pivotal turning point. No longer protected by vast geographical distances or drawn-out foreign legal proceedings, the suspect was now fully within the U.S. justice system. Prosecutors could finally bring the full weight of the accumulated evidence to bear, applying relentless and systematic pressure to secure a conviction. The transfer operation was executed with the utmost security. Every detail, from the travel route and timing to the means of transportation, was meticulously controlled to prevent any leaks. After one previous escape, no agency was willing to risk repeating the same mistake, especially with a target holding such immense informational value. The true objective of the case goes far beyond punishing a single individual. Prosecutors aim to leverage the suspect's knowledge about secret accounts, financial intermediaries, and the entire money routing network. A high-level coordinator like him can unlock a cascade of new investigative leads that mere drug seizures could never achieve. Do you support this fight to dismantle these cartels? If yes, comment 2. If not, comment 5. The indictment is meticulously detailed and far more comprehensive than a typical drug trafficking case. It outlines a multi-year conspiracy involving narcotics in quantities that exceed every strict threshold set by federal law. The overlapping charges span large-scale drug trafficking to transnational money laundering, setting the stage for potentially extremely severe penalties, including, in practical terms, a life sentence. The money laundering allegations are particularly emphasized due to their staggering scale. Prosecutors estimate that the total amount of money laundered through the system could reach billions of dollars over many years of operation. Every bank transaction, every shell company becomes irrefutable, concrete evidence when presented in court. The trial transformed dry, lifeless numbers into vivid, undeniable reality. Forged business registration documents, interbank transfer receipts, and communication logs were presented in a systematic and meticulous manner. They didn't just prove guilt, they exposed the entire machinery behind how the cartel built a parallel financial system that operated alongside the legitimate economy. The public disclosure of detailed information in court created a powerful ripple effect that extended far beyond the courtroom walls. Bank accounts connected to the scheme were frozen instantly. Shell companies were dissolved by court order, and financial intermediaries went into a state of panic as their names surfaced in the federal case files. A single defendant had the power to set off the gradual collapse of multiple other links in the chain. The U.S. government is sending a powerful message. Geography is no longer a shield for transnational criminal organizations. Once money flows through the American financial system, jurisdiction kicks in quickly and without mercy. The current strategy focuses on targeting high-level money managers and logistics coordinators rather than relying solely on drug seizures. Dismantling the financial infrastructure inflicts far more lasting damage than traditional enforcement ever could. Modern data analytics tools can now detect suspicious patterns across thousands of bank transactions in mere minutes. Techniques once reserved for national security operations are now widely deployed to track the money flows of cartels. With tighter international cooperation, suspects now face the very real threat of rapid extradition. Each successful prosecution sets a powerful legal precedent for future cases, making it harder than ever for these networks to operate in the shadows. For major organizations like the Sinaloa Cartel or CJNG, the loss of a single high-level financial manager can spark serious internal chaos. Payment lines are disrupted, trust among members erodes, and business partners begin quietly distancing themselves to minimize exposure. Sustained financial pressure can fracture the entire structure from within, often more effectively than violence ever could. This case exemplifies a profound shift in the war on drugs. Enforcement is no longer confined to borders, smuggling routes, or street-level seizures. It now extends deep into the digital financial space, seemingly legitimate businesses, and the banking system itself. When the defendant stands at the witness stand, he represents not just himself, but an entire intricate system that has shielded him for years. Every question from the prosecutor, every piece of evidence presented is a strike against the underground economy that these cartels depend on. The future will see many more extraditions on a much larger scale, with indictments reflecting massive figures to capture the true scope of these criminal organizations' operations. Many of the defendants will be financial and logistical coordinators, not just street-level operatives handling shipments directly. The war is now being fought in silence, but with enduring and far-reaching power. While criminal organizations can alter shipping routes, change the names of their members, or switch contact phone numbers, they cannot completely erase the financial trails they have left behind. When those traces are meticulously connected and exposed, the entire criminal system begins to tremble. The ultimate result is not just a sentence for an individual, but the slow but steady weakening of an entire criminal empire. This case serves as a reminder that modern confrontations often unfold in silence, yet with relentless persistence. There's no need for noise or violence. Through precise coordination among law enforcement agencies, the removal of a single critical link can cause serious disruption throughout the entire system. The battle against criminal organizations is ongoing, but the balance of power is steadily shifting toward the forces of law and justice. Each successful trial, like this one, does not simply punish past crimes. It sends a powerful message that deters the future of these criminal networks. When the courtroom door closes, the story never truly ends. It simply enters a new phase. The information gleaned from defendants can unlock entirely new investigative leads, placing relentless pressure on those who remain in the shadows. The U.S. government has shifted its strategy, moving beyond merely reacting to individual shipments and instead proactively targeting the economic foundations of these criminal organizations. While the results may unfold gradually, their impact and long-term sustainability will be far more significant. The impact of these cases reaches far beyond national borders, sending ripples across the globe. Criminal organizations are coming to realize that no place is truly safe when they entangle themselves with the financial systems of major countries. The message is clear and powerful. Ultimately, these arrests and trials serve as strong proof of the power that comes from patience, international cooperation, and intelligent analysis. A man with a complicated past now faces the consequences of decisions that span many years, and through him, an entire large-scale criminal system is being tried and dismantled, piece by piece. Investigators do not see this case as an isolated victory, but rather as a crucial signal marking the beginning of a new phase in the fight against crime. They understand that merely seizing drugs is insufficient to dismantle global networks, as these organizations can quickly adapt and restructure. However, when the focus shifts to attacking the money flows and financial coordinators, the impact becomes far more lasting and widespread. This is a classic example of a strategic and effective approach in the war on crime. This case highlights how Chinese criminal organizations collaborate with Mexican cartels to create a truly global network. This alliance not only broadens the scale of operations, but also significantly increases the sophistication of transportation and money laundering methods, requiring a forceful and coordinated response from international law enforcement agencies. Each day the trial continues presents new opportunities to gather additional information from the defendants or uncover supplementary evidence. Whether the accused chooses to remain silent or cooperate, the system he once served has already endured severe damage and will struggle to recover quickly. The war against organized crime and drug trafficking is a long and enduring struggle, but cases like this one show that we are finally moving in the right direction. Rather than simply reacting to individual shipments, law enforcement agencies are now targeting the foundational structures, making criminal organizations pay a much higher price for every aspect of their operations. When the light from the courtroom shines through, it does not just illuminate a single defendant. It exposes the entire darkness of the global underground economy, with the hope that one day these networks will no longer have the strength to survive. So, the manhunt for the drug kingpin known as Brother Wong, real name Ji Dongjiang, from shell companies in the United States, tons of narcotics crossing the border, to his heart-pounding escape through Mexico and Cuba, and finally ending up in the hands of justice at the federal courthouse in Brooklyn, has concluded with a crystal-clear message. The war against the cartels is no longer just about seizing shipments. It's about cutting off their financial lifelines. When the money movers start falling one by one, the entire underground empire begins to crumble from within. What do you think about this case? Do you believe the strategy of going after the money flows is strong enough to truly take down the Sinaloa Cartel and CJNG, or will the cartels just find new ways to adapt? Which detail in today's story impressed you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll read them all and reply to as many as I can. Don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss the next shocking case. See you soon!